today, this particular show here is a very bizarre one, and I'll tell you why. As y'all know, yesterday, the Los Angeles Clippers played against the Philadelphia 76ers, and they lost a very close game. I'm sure they're going to be talking about that on various media platforms today. At the end of the game, head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, Doc Rivers, made some very bizarre comments that has, quite frankly, a lot of NBA fans around the league right now scratching their head. And it's something that's quite similar to what Kevin Durant had to say recently. This is what Doc Rivers said to Dave McMenamin, and this is what we're getting from Dave McMenamin on Twitter. Doc Rivers on LeBron James. I think he's going to have the greatest career of all time. I think he's already had it. And that's not, I think Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, but that doesn't take away from LeBron. LeBron's had the greatest career in basketball. When he made those comments, it caused a lot of people on Twitter to basically sit there and scratch their heads and ask themselves the question, what exactly does that comment exactly mean that he has the greatest career? In my personal opinion, I think LeBron has one of the greatest careers. Certainly, he has the strongest case when we're talking about the longevity argument. No one has played this well at this age. I think that is true, right? You'd be hard pressed to find another player playing at this level at this age. We're not going to factor in the fact that this league is a much more open league. It's easier to score, although we all know this, but nevertheless, he's still going out there and putting up those numbers on a night in and night out basis. And it's also important to say that what I admire most about LeBron is the fact that he's still committed to his sport, even at this point in his career, and also his passion for the game and his love and his discipline, even at this point, because LeBron definitely doesn't have to play for money. So I really respect that about him. But him saying that he has the greatest career in terms of accomplishments is very confusing, because I'm not sure exactly what it is we're going to point to say that he has the greatest career. Now, if we're talking about LeBron playing great at an individual level for this long, and you were just compiling the number of seasons together, I can understand that. But if you're talking about accomplishments, to be quite frank with you, I don't get that. And I want to put my case in front of you guys. I want to compare LeBron's career in terms of just accomplishments to Michael Jordan's accomplishments. Let's just start there, because I think that's what he's talking about. LeBron is a 4-time NBA champion. He's a 4-time finals MVP. He's a 4-time regular season MVP. He's an 18-time All-Star. He's been an All-Star game MVP 3 times. He's been on 13 all-first NBA teams, 3 seconds, so that's 16, 2 thirds, so he's been on 19 all-NBA teams. He's been on 5 all-first defensive teams and 1 second, so 6 all-defensive selections. He was the Rookie of the Year in 2004. He won a scoring championship in 2008. He led the league in assists in 2020. Of course, he was the Athlete of the Year, Times Athlete of the Year. We're not going to really focus on that. And he was part of the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history. Some could say the biggest choke job in NBA Finals history. That's LeBron. I think LeBron's major claim to fame is that 2016 NBA Finals. That's the one that people point to. We're not going to talk about, the 2020 Finals. And it's quite funny when they say, when people say, who did Jordan play against in the finals, and no one mentions the fact that they beat Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, and some other players that we can't even remember. But nevertheless, they want to ask that question about Jordan. Let's look at Jordan's career accomplishments. Jordan is a 6-time NBA champion, 6 times finals MVP, 5-time regular season MVP. If we're just using accounting stats, Jordan's already ahead. He's a 14-time All-Star. He's a 3-time All-Star Game MVP. Basically achieved the same amount of All-Star selections, MVP selections, less time. He's been on 10 All-First NBA teams, 1 second. He won a Defensive Player of the Year award and he made 9 all-first defensive teams. He was also the Rookie of the Year. He led the league in scoring 10 times while making 9 all-first defensive teams. How do you do that? How do you make 9 all-first defensive teams in your position and win a Defensive Player of the Year, and then at the very same time lead the league in scoring 10 times? How do you do that? Who has ever done something like that? Anyway, he then led the league in steals 3 separate times. He went to the finals 6 times, won 6 times. LeBron went to the finals, 10 times, won 4 times. I'm trying to understand, when we're talking about accomplishments, what is the specific thing LeBron accomplished that gives him the greatest career? How does LeBron have a greater career than Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? How? I know Kareem doesn't get mentioned a lot in the GOAT debate. I have Kareem personally in my top 2. I think is Jordan, and then I think is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Let's bring Kareem Abdul-Jabbar into the conversation here. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is also a 6-time NBA champion, 2-time Finals MVP, 6 times regular season MVP, 19-time All-Star. He's been on 10 All-First NBA teams, 5 second, so he's been on 15 All-NBA teams. He's made 5 All-First defensive teams. That's the exact amount of defensive teams as LeBron has made in terms of first, but he made 6 second defensive teams. So he's made 11 all defensive selections. 11. That's on par with Jordan. He was also the Rookie of the Year. He led the league in scoring 2 times. He led the league in rebounding once. He led the league in shot blocks 4 separate times. And he's also part of the 50-40-90 club, and he's also top 5 in scoring of all time. So again, I go back to my point. How does LeBron have a better resume than Kareem? How is this so? How is it possible? How is that the case? They both had a lot of help in their careers. Of the 2 players, LeBron had probably more help. But that's the first thing. I also don't believe that he's basing this off of winning. I think that what's happening here is that a lot of these people are being sucked into the sack of this media cyclone that's just going around, where we're being badgered by this message that LeBron's, every time you turn on Instagram, this and this and this, that people forget to think. It's almost like a brainwashing. You forget that what happened. You forget people. You're just like, well, it's him. Like, it's like people go into a trance. I don't get it. I'm trying to understand something here when people say this. It's not a knock on LeBron, but I think that what I think some of these people are doing is that you're trying to sit in a chair you don't deserve to sit in. That's reserved for somebody else, but you want to sit down anyway. I have a cousin like this. I have a cousin. It's very annoying. What he does is when he sees bigger people, older people, bigger guys, very accomplished guys, all of this stuff, what he likes to do is he likes to go sit down amongst these guys and start talking and shooting the breeze like as if he's on their level. And he's just still up and coming. He hasn't done anything, but he wants to be in that seat. But you don't deserve to be there. And to me, it's annoying. I don't get this. Let's just look at their playoff records for a moment here. Against 50-win teams in the playoffs, LeBron, maybe his record has improved. It must be, last time I'm checking, it's saying 10-9. Maybe it's 12 and something. I don't know what it is. But Jordan, when he retired against 50-win teams in the playoffs, he has a 20-7 record. 20-7 record. Even Kobe has a 25-10 record in the playoffs. And oh, by the way, let me add this in as an aside. According to Basketball Forever, Kobe Bryant is the only member of the top 75 to beat 4+ 50-win teams in a single postseason without a top 75 teammate. Kobe. I'm not sure how LeBron has a more impressive resume than Kobe. So when they talk about accomplishments, I'm not understanding this. And what needs to be addressed is the losing. I feel like LeBron has gotten such a pass on losing that it's almost gotten to the point where it doesn't even matter anymore. Losing matters, man. Nobody addresses the losing. So to me, I'm not hating on him, but I just feel like it's unjustified. It's not justified. It's not based in anything concrete. When you say he has the best career, based on what? What?